A very good morning and welcome back to Krakow for day number 2 of the PGL Major Krakow. It is another exciting day of Counter-Strike Global Offensive. We've got some incredible matches ahead of us and obviously some incredible matches behind us. Yesterday saw some big upsets, pun intended, and we're going to see more today, I'm sure, as we head into the highs and lows of round 2, those with 1 and 0. And those with 0 and 1. To help guide you through the opening matches of this morning, our panel members are veterans of the CSGO world, former professional players as well. We've got Natu and Moses with us. Good morning, gents.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Una.
Good morning, Jason.
Yeah.
Jason.
Jason.
We're calling him
Excuse
Jason from
me
now on.
for the lack of Scandinavianism.
The honorary Y.
Yeah, because we have Una and we have Janko and we have Jason now.
Nice.
So we thought we'd make you feel at home.
Oh, thanks, guys. That warms me up.
It definitely does.
Really wakes me up as well.
It does, yeah. So looking forward to day 2. Let's just reflect quickly back on day 1. There were some surprises in here. Do you think Big was the big surprise?
Yes, yes, but I actually, okay. Let me rephrase that. Probably not. Actually, what surprised me the most, that's obviously a huge upset, but what surprised me as well is watching teams like SK and Astralis really struggled against both their teams. Now, Immortals obviously is a little bit of tougher competition, but SK having a really difficult time with Penta, especially after getting up so much.
They were 10-0 up.
Yeah, and you normally don't see them struggle and let those kind of comebacks actually occur. But, I mean, they did sustain in the end. So, I mean, like we said, it's Swiss system, so all that matters is getting those 3 wins. Doesn't matter how it happens.
It just shows us SK are actually human. They're not robots, you know? They can get complacent in a game.
There's a rumour out there that says they might not be robots. I'm not convinced still, though.
Yeah, no.
I think they're just trying to play the game now at this point. So when we look forward to day 2, before we look at that, why don't we take a look at the standings and show you where we are right now. As I said, the teams have been split in half after the first day of Swiss group play. On the left-hand side are the teams with 1 and 0, up there with Virtus Pro amongst them as well on home soil, and of course the reigning champions Astralis eventually coming through to gain their first win of the day. Over on the right-hand side, however, are the teams who are in a little bit of trouble. Not drastic trouble right now, because they've still got plenty of chances of making the quarterfinals, but they're all 0 and 1. Amongst them, Penta, Mouse Sports, Vega, and the big ones, FaZe, North, Na'Vi, and Immortals. All to play for them as well as we go into day number 2, which we will show you the schedule for today. It's a fantastic schedule as well. We'll start things off with Penta versus North, head into Mouse Sports versus FaZe. There's the all-CIS clash of Flipside versus Na'Vi to look forward to as well. And then we'll end with 2 massive games. The reigning champions Astralis versus the previous 2 champions SK Gaming. And the last match will be Virtus Pro versus Fnatic, an old classic between 2 old foes.
Yeah, I mean, those last 2 games, obviously the headliners, that's going to be a sick way to end the day. But I think in the morning as well, I mean, this Penta North, I mean, these first couple games are actually pretty sneaky in how close they can be in some of these. So some scary situations to start the day and end the day. Especially
judging how it's gone so far with these teams too. You know, putting these teams playing against, seeing how North played against Cloud9 yesterday. Yeah. You know, still a lot of question marks in that team. Then Penta actually surprising us, being able to come back from massive loss situation. They were down 10-0, 9-0 at one point in the game, and still making it really. Yeah, they actually had that game in the bag at one point in time, but just mocked it up in a couple situations. Same goes for the FaZe Mouse Sports game. You know, FaZe was a little iffy. They made some really
yesterday.
Massive fundamental mistakes in situations. And I was even going on how FaZe is so good with the intuition, the way those players can do in a lot of the after-plan situations. None of that to be seen at all. So, you know, a little worried for them, considering as well how sloppy Cologne was too.
Yeah, a little bit of worries for a number of those teams in there. I guess we'll get into Penta versus North fairly shortly as well. What do you make of Big versus Cloud? Because that's a repeat. We've already seen that one. Yeah, and it was a pretty big stomping for Cloud9, if I remember correctly, at the major qualifier as well. I think it's obviously Big keeps surprising us, right, with how high that peak can go, despite all the concerns about the firepower that they might be lacking. But still, very impressive in how they're being tactical. That's just like a weird match though, because it just seems like Cloud9 just seems to have that ability to like roll through that tactical approach, at least from what we saw at the major qualifier. So, and one of those 2 teams is going to end the day at 2-0, one game away from the quarterfinals. Must be nice.
2 challengers.
Yeah,
that's something.
Big stuff from both.
It's going to be Cloud9, Paul.
Is it?
Yeah.
I love the fact that you've come in today with a positive attitude towards your North American brothers.
Listen, they call me the optimist. Always positive.
The eternal optimist.
Yeah, no, I think that match, I think Cloud9's going to have that one pretty sewn up. Obviously, it's going to depend on the map, and Gabi, every time you talk to him, like, he just reveals like these layers of how he approaches the game that like no one else seems to do, or at least that we know of. So that's obviously a scary hurdle that Cloud9's going to have to pass. But they seem to have all the tools available to them, and they've obviously done it recently in history. So,
but at the same time, Big's a team that can really frustrate you. You know, they really like grind things through. They dissect everything they do into small segments, and it's just something that feels like, for example, yesterday when everything seemed a little timid for them, they were taking a little even too much time. But in the end of the day, things like we were talking about is how they were seeding little plants here and everywhere, making their opposition think certain ways, but then they'd be able to adapt as the half went through. So I think that's going to be a very interesting one. It's really hard to call for me, to be honest.
Okay, I'm going to get more from both of you in just a moment. We've also got another member of the panel, sort of member of the panel. He's not here in person, but he's here in spirit at the Major, and he's put together a number of chronicles. This time, it's on Penta Sports.
Penta is a team that has really made waves in the Tier 2 level of the scene. They're a squad which has followed suit from what we've seen from the likes of FaZe and Mouse Sports, where you can have these international teams, and sometimes there is more benefit to having a multinational team because you can take a player, examples like Nico in the past, obviously Rain, where in their domestic scene, they couldn't have a team that's on the level of this international team. So therefore, you take out some talent that maybe you couldn't get into your team otherwise, and they get a chance to perform at a level they otherwise wouldn't be playing at, no matter how good they are. And in Penta, we've really seen the value of that formula. Because in FaZe, they had kind of a get out in as much as they had so much money and so much attention, they could also get players who maybe could have played in a good team in their country. Penta has done it on a lower level where they've taken these players from countries at the moment generally don't have top teams. So for example, outside of Virtus.pro, there isn't a top team from Poland who's really making deep finishes in top international tournaments. If you go to Finland, they haven't had a top team pretty much ever in CSGO, if we're being realistic. So you go to these different countries, you take in the talents, and much as you've seen in FaZe, in Mouse Sports, if you get the right mix of those talents, then somehow, I've always said that the game for good players does transcend language to a degree, because a lot of communication in-game doesn't have to be verbal. The way you play, your style, if you fit with someone who's a teammate of yours, there's a chemistry that goes beyond words. And so I think Penta, coming from such humble beginnings of, in the past, just being a lowly German team, they've been able to show with this multinational roster that bringing in better talents from outside the region and putting them together and getting the right mixture together finally, they've got a style of play that's worked, they're getting upset results over people, and now they're ready to kind of unveil themselves at Tier 1 and play with the big boys. So the best player in Penta is the Finnish player Sunny, and he is someone where not only does he have a high skill level and is able to do a lot of damage in the server, but I think the most encouraging qualities to me about him is, first of all, he's quite a confident player. You can see from the way he plays in the game, he doesn't kind of question himself. And to go along with that, I think a really, really positive sign is that he's a player who actually has a level of discipline. He understands his style of play and he plays within it. And so he sets himself up to have great rounds. Whereas a lot of young players, a lot of rising stars, they live and die by their aim. And if they get put in a bad situation by poor decision making, they trust themselves to just shoot themselves out of it. And when you play the best players in the world, they have your skill level and they don't make the poor decision making. So I think the fact that Sunny is a controlled player, he's a guy who plays with discipline, but he has that skill level, I think that's what's enabled him to play in this team that's got an entirely different cultural background, but emerge as the star and quite a consistent star at that lower level. Now, of course, we've got to see, can he do it on the biggest stages against the world's best players? One of the most experienced players in Penta is the player Innocent from Poland. And he's someone whose story really kind of tells you all you need to know about the Polish scene outside of Virtus.pro. So because Poland has always been represented by Virtus.pro at a high level, with them winning majors and top-level finishes and being one of the elite teams for 3 or 4 years now, people have always looked solely at Virtus.pro, and every question about a player who's Polish who isn't in that team goes along the lines of, when will he join Virtus.pro, or would he ever get the invite to join Virtus.pro? And so in the early days, you go back to 2014, Innocent was one of those names in the mix, and people were like, maybe one day he will replace this player in Virtus.pro, or they'll consider him if they need a stand-in. And he's someone where, as such, he's lived in that shadow of Virtus.pro, like all those other tier 2 players from within the Polish scene. And because his career went on so long and he was in these lineups that switched rosters up so much, they also had to switch roles over time, and they tried different combinations of players. And he's even said, eventually, towards the end of his career in the Polish scene, he was playing more supportive roles. He couldn't necessarily shine individually. Obviously, the teams were kind of capped. They couldn't go much further than the level they were stuck at. And everyone was still thinking, is one of us going to go and get a chance to play in Virtus Pro if they need to change a player? So moving to Penta allows Innocent to completely rewrite his CSGO history. He's played with these Polish teams in the past, and that has been a question he probably himself even wondered about. But now he's in a totally different situation. He's in a much better squad. He's with different players in different countries. He's getting a chance to shine now. We're seeing more of his kind of all-around talent. He's someone where people have known for a while. He could probably play outside of a Polish team. His experience certainly fits him well. He's one of the more cerebral players from that region. And so now, no one's wondering, is Innocent going to go to Virtus Pro? Now people are wondering, what can Innocent achieve in Penta as a good player in his own right, outside of the confines of being stuck in those teams that seem like the audition stage for Virtus Pro?
Some insight on Penta there from Thorin. I think it's something that Natu on the panel probably relates to as well with the Finnish scene. And we've had a number of conversations over the last few months alone about how it's been good for the Finnish players to break out of that relatively toxic scene at times where they can break away going into international teams. There's two
you
players.
know a lot about that.
Get away from that.
UK.
Get away from that organization.
We've had our same issues in the UK. And Sonny and Zen are similar players. They've had to come away from their homeland. They've had to go and play on an international roster, learn English to a better degree, have a much better understanding of how to communicate in game in English in an international lineup. Though this is phase 2.0 or something, I guess you would say.
It's a poor man's phase,
or budget phase is what a lot of people say. But I think there's a slightly derogatory term. But it's a similar system, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is, and it's very happy to see this kind of individuals that have showcased that they have the talent to be able to play against better players to finally break through. Especially Sonny, I've seen him play for the longest time, since 2013.
You played with him, didn't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. For a couple of years, I always knew that he had the talent to do a lot of things, but I think really just a lack of him being able to make moves when he needed to, especially on LAN. He would get the jitters a lot of the time in bigger games, and he's finally seemingly beat his demons when it comes to having crisp decision making in big games, and it's showcasing now that he's such a hardworking individual. Sometimes even too much. He overthinks about the game even. So you have to even go to him stop thinking for a bit. Just let your instincts do the work because you're really good at the game just as it is. So yeah, it's great to see.
I also wanted to talk to you, Jason, about HS as well, because he's from Estonia, not a traditional Counter-Strike country. There's a few players obviously very famous in the Dota world, but they haven't been known for their Counter-Strike. They've got 2 players here at the Major as well this time around, for the first time ever, which is fantastic for them. But again, another player who's got to come away from his home country, got to go and find an international squad.
Yeah, I mean, it's just something we're going to start seeing from smaller regions, especially as contracts have players locked up from some of the countries and everything like that. You do have to search other ways to find that talent, and obviously with with the proliferation of these online pug systems and everything like that, the FPLs, the rank S's, you're going to see more players just kind of seemingly come out of nowhere. So great opportunity for him. Obviously, I think he had a really, really rough game yesterday against SK. So he was -1 and 8 or something like that.
Rough. Yeah, -1, 0, 10.
Finished pretty well, which is cool. You don't normally see young players at some of their first biggest events being able to recover in that fashion when they have a slow start. But we saw in the major qualifier the potential that this guy has, and we saw them against Liquid. Remember, it was HS and Sonny who had 20 some kills at the end of regulation when they beat Liquid 16-2. Those two guys, when they went off, it was just they were unstoppable. You just couldn't kill them. You couldn't take duels with them. So a lot of skill, obviously, and it's all about the nice thing about Penta at the moment is yes, you can call them a budget phase in a sense of all the different nationalities, but the way they play the game is very, very much different. And at the moment, since they have some kind of structure, it allows kind of those younger guys to take some of the decision making away from them. Some of the decision making that Thorin said, that's what normally hinders young players. And when you take it away from them in the sense that you just let them know what they're supposed to be doing or where they're going. You're not actually telling them don't think or don't make a decision. It's just you give them the framework of which they can make their decisions in, and it seems like they're starting to thrive in that.
I want to give credit to Nasu on that a lot because he's a player that was a great wingman for an in-game leader back in the day when he played, and he was always really good in actual plan situation retakes, thinking things through when it comes to being calm and collected in those kind of situations. I'm sure he's really, really put a lot of work into making sure that they're good at making decision making. Or good at decision making when it comes to the 3-on-3s and those kind of situations.
Okay, let's switch our focus to North and discuss this team. I guess towards the probably August time last year when they won Epicenter as Dignitas, you started to think, okay, that's the breakout tournament. It's the one that they wanted to win. They finally won a tournament now. Maybe they can kick on, but they just haven't, Jason.
Yeah, and it's sometimes confusing as to why I'm one of the guys who kind of thinks it's the loss of someone like Rubino, who is a big impact player, one of those guys whose contributions don't show up on the scoreboard as easy as you can use that as a scapegoat.
Except for clutches.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's true. But they seem to be missing some kind of like initiative in certain scenarios. We saw them yesterday against Cloud9 on Mirage, just getting like stuck in connector, and no one wanted to be the aggressive one. No one wanted to make that first move towards the bomb site, and just allowing too much time for their opponents to rotate into proper position to defend against that. But this is a team that it has too much skill to be underperforming to this level. I mean, you think back to IEM Sydney, they don't even get out of groups. They lose to an Australian team, Chiefs, which is a crazy upset on Nuke, a map that they're supposed to be one of the best in the world on as well. And they just, they just seem to be sitting at all these tournaments at the quarterfinal spot. And at this point, it almost feels like he's slipping away even further. So these guys really need to come back strong in this match. Hopefully yesterday was like the wake-up call to be like, this can't be happening to us.
Yeah, well, that's the key now, isn't it? Is it a wake-up call, or is it just another on the slippery road to nowhere? Which I mean, lose this game, they're 0-2. That's one game away from 3 of not making the quarterfinals.
I think what's really mind-boggling is when you look at this lineup, you have players like Config, you have Magic Sploit, even AZ, people that can really be good at doing the things that Jason was describing that they weren't doing. Hitting the bomb side, reading plays, going through smokes when they need to, kind of like continuation to the initial way of they approach around. They just seem to be lacking, just spending way too much time, giving their opposition that much time to be rotating. So, I mean, it's just, I don't know, how do they go forward from this is kind of the question, because it feels like one of the things I said yesterday about them having players, similar kind of players, maybe even too many of them. AZ right now, I don't think he doesn't seem to be in his comfort zone at all. He used to be the kind of guy who you give a lot of room for him to be maneuvering and let it do his little things. He can put numbers on the board. But now you already have Config and Magic Sploit that like to play aggressive. You can't have 3 guys doing that kind of job. So how does it mesh together?
Yeah, and it seems like, I mean, part of the answer that they've had, and this is one thing, we noticed yesterday, and I think it's actually been going on for about a month or two, is on Mirage specifically, I have to imagine it's seeped into other maps as well, is they've started shifting some of the roles on the defensive side of things, getting players in different positions. Magisploit anchoring over the B bomb site now. That used to be a map where they had like their trio of stars really focused on middle and connector, and now they've kind of shifted that around. So they're also saying, yes, we definitely have role confusion. We definitely have players who don't really feel comfortable in where they are on the maps right now. So let's start shifting that up. Let's start trying new things. And one thing that takes away is the experience of some of these guys in this team on maps.
And also, I think like you can see the hesitation that this team's showing in a sense where yesterday against for Cloud9 in Mirage, for example, there was mid control from Cloud9. It ended up in a 4-4 situation. 3 of those 4 were towards the A bomb side, and Magic Sploit in a really weird timing starts to push the apps. He dies. They lose the bomb side. They lose control of the bomb side. So they just seem to be a little hesitant when it comes to making those kind of plays that they need to do.
So picks and bans gone through very quickly indeed.
Mirage.
Oh shit!
And we'll end on Mirage.
I'm actually kind of surprised to see Penta, if I'm correct in my pin studying that I did late last night. I believe they banned Train as the second ban, and that's kind of interesting. Since
Penta,
that's Overpass.
Okay, well, I'm incorrect.
Your studying was terrible, Jason.
Yeah, it was god-awful, wasn't it?
More studying required on badges.
You really do just hate to see that, don't you? Let's focus on
bans on
Mirage.
Nuke, bans on Overpass, North ban Train, Cash, and Inferno.
So a vintage North map is what we're going to be ending up. But then again,
that's okay for Penta though, isn't it? They've been brilliant on that.
Exactly. They like dismantled Liquid, for example, at the qualifier coming in. And
we had that conversation. I remember back at the minor saying, "Yeah, okay, they're good on LAN, all right, good online rather, good online on Mirage. LAN Mirage, totally different kettle of fish. They blew everyone away on Mirage at the minor." You get to the offline qualifier and you think, well, they can't do it here because it's high quality, and they do it again. Our team's going to carry on making this mistake against this team.
Yeah, well, a lot of it was down to HS having a game of his life, to be honest, against Liquid especially.
Yeah.
He was just going ham. 20 kills in the first, I don't know, like 10 rounds of that game. You can't expect that to be happening every single time on the map, right? But they were really good at gaining map control. They just go out in the middle a lot, get on splicing, and then when they needed to, they'd have the set executes, and the timings were on point. they made it really hard for the cities to play on those bomb sites. So that's going to be a challenge on its own for North to be able to adapt and kind of feel how can we stay on the bombs and fight for those executes. Do we have to play more passively and then go for have a really good protocols for the retakes? So yeah, this is going to be an interesting challenge for both parties for sure.
Okay, we're going to get more from both of you in just a moment, but I'm hearing Scoots has found one of the coaches. There is only one coach here, unfortunately, in this particular matchup. Say hi to Nasu, who's probably at home watching and willing his team on right now. But Rugger is with Scoots right now.
Good morning, Paul. Yes, I am with Casper, also known as Rugger, here, the coach of Team North. How you doing this morning?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm ready for today.
You ready?
Yeah.
Let's get right into it. Let's talk about your prep in advance. You know, looking at both records before you guys got here, Penta and you, very close on how many maps you've played in the last 3 months offline. 20 maps for you guys, 22 for them. So very close in the sense of how much you've been playing. But what I want to talk about is kind of how you prepped. You know, you got 9th to 11th place in Cologne. So you've been, I would say, a little busier than they have. But so how have you prepped since Cologne, and what did you learn coming out of Cologne?
I think we learned that we need confidence in the team, because we have a lot of good individual players, and when they don't have the confidence, it's hard to win against the big shows, and that's what have been our main issue the last couple of months. We have lost narrow to SK, FaZe, I think even, no, not Astralis, but SK, I think twice. So I think we have worked on how to take the next step to narrow the gap to the best teams in the world, and in hardcore preparation, that means that we have swapped a couple of roles, but as we saw on Mirage yesterday, it's not that big on Mirage, but more on some other maps.
Let's talk about confidence and pressure. Obviously, new organization, North, and obviously you got a big boss. You know, the Copenhagen football team is your bosses. That's awesome for us in esports to see real sports kind of intertwining and realizing how valuable we are. But what kind of extra pressure does that put on you guys? Because it's not just an endemic organization that we're used to. It's a whole new investment, if you will.
I think the pressure was bigger in the beginning. At the first major, that was our first competition under the new banner. Ever since then, the pressure have taken a little off. We know we have the backing from home, no matter what happens. So for us, it's the biggest pressure is coming from ourselves, because we want to win. We want to show we are a good team and can compete with the best in the world. And for the last couple of tournaments, that have been, not happening. So we have the only pressure we feel right now is to go improve ourselves. So that can be a good thing as well, that we need to kickstart the confidence, and whenever it comes back, I think that a lot of teams in this tournament will probably see it as a hard match coming up against us.
Okay. And you're playing Mirage today. You played it yesterday. Cloud9 barely beat you. Was that, you think Penta picked that based on yesterday, or do you think that was already in their mind based on your guys' collective map pools?
I think it was pretty determined on beforehand. We agreed we wouldn't play Inferno after yesterday because they almost beat SK and should have beaten SK. So we had a loss in our heads as well against FaZe from Cologne, where we got beaten quite heavily. So we thought that we would veto that, and our normal bans against teams like Penta is normally train and cast. So it was either that or Cobble, and I think they respect us more on Cobble than on Mirage.
Gotcha. And I'm going to put you on the spot. You don't have to answer it. You care to give me any sort of prediction on the match? Obviously, you're going to win, right? You would tell me that. But any idea how close it's going to be?
I think it comes down to how well their individuals turn up this today, because they are very reliant on individual plays from Sonny or HS. So I think if they have a good game, I think it'll be close. But in my head, it's still a match that I think we will win 16-10 or something.
All right, thank you very much. Good luck out there today. That's going to do it for us. Red Eye, back to you at the desk.
Yes, thank you very much to Casper and to Scott, of course, for the continued great interviews. And very interesting what Rugger said there, Natu. Did you take the point that he was making, that they've spent more time studying the top teams and therefore closed the gap to the top teams, and maybe that's lessened the gap to the teams behind them a little bit, and maybe made them a bit vulnerable?
I'm not sure. I mean, the way everyone's going to approach always is, that everyone's studying, everyone's going to be trying to narrow the gap. That's what the coaches are supposed to say, right? It's
doing a good coach job.
Yeah, obviously. But in the big picture, I think just overall the competition is just getting wider all the time. We've seen now Big and Penta being prime examples of how a few months of grind, basically just putting that effort in, it can put you in this position where you're going to be making the majors.
I think a lot of it just stems to the fact that North in certain situations doesn't have that that confidence that we like to see out of them, like the not willingness to take fights. Like it is kind of like a fine line you have to ride. But in this kind of a matchup and against Cloud9, for instance, I would have liked to have seen some of the players to be, we criticized FaZe yesterday for seemingly on an individual level being arrogant, and taking some of their fights coming through smokes and everything. And I'm not saying always come through smokes, but you want to see a little bit of that overconfidence in some of these, in guys like Config and guys like Magisk who have the skill to take some of these fights and open things up for the bomb site, and no one has that kind of determination to take sites right now, to be aggressive on this team. And I think that's what makes them pretty susceptible to upsets like this. Penta is a team they should be able to at least outplay on a strategic level. I don't agree that Penta's known for their individual plays. They're known at the moment for being very, very good at trading, because they play a very heavily boxed up style, like a death ball type thing, where they have 3-4 players all together on one side of the map. And if you're North, especially on Mirage, where you can gain so much ground on the CT side by pushing up on the extremities and being aggressive, you can find ways to exploit that. You can get a lot of information. It's going to be really interesting to see with that style if Penta comes out with it again on a map that relies so much on mid control. Because if they're going to do that towards the A or B bomb site, then you don't have mid. Then, it's a lot less intimidating when you try and hit that A bomb site, because there's no actual split coming in. So there's a lot of different ways I think North can test the waters, but I think more than anything, they just need to come into this and be confident and be that North that we know can be a dangerous squad.
Okay, let's bring in our commentary team for this morning and say good morning to the pair in the booth right now, Henry G and Sadakis. Good morning, gents.
Hello. You guys are wearing a distinctive lack of red.
We're lacking red today, are we? Sorry, did I miss the memo?
Yes.
So. Sorry, boys. I guess we should just do very quick predictions between the four of you. Natu?
I mean, I have my homeboys.
Yeah,
so
I thought
Penta.
so. Penta for him. Jason?
I'm taking North.
North.
Surely.
Okay. Henry?
I'm really excited with the prospect of Penta right now. And
Yeah,
I think
me
North
too.
Go
looking
for it,
forward,
Henry.
So
Go for it,
I'm
Henry.
actually happy with Penta. I'm going
All
with
right.
that.
Matt?
Well, you're going to have to split the difference, Paul, because I'm going to go North.
I like it. I like it. It's split the set. I think this is going to be a close game. I think you're going to enjoy this one, boys.
All right.
That's a cop-out. I wanted a prediction. He's got to split it. We were 2-2.
Yeah.
But it is going to be a good game. He's right.
It is.
He's right. It is going to be a great game. I think Penta has looked impressive yesterday, especially on Inferno against SK, coming back from 10-1 and actually having the lead 1 point at 13-11, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it was
that's
maybe
right.
it was 12-11 and they didn't quite get to 13. But
Coldzera bailed out SK as well.
Big
he
time.
went absolutely nuts. They should have won that game, I think. And imagine that, Penta, one of the challenges of the tournament, coming out and maybe beating SK game. It didn't quite happen in kind of Space Soldiers fashion of we saw at Cologne, but it was still an amazing game, really exciting. Want to kick things off for them.
yeah, absolutely. And North, on the other hand, has definitely been a team that obviously, look, they've come under some criticism for being arrogant. I know a couple teams have said, G2 specifically. We know Config does like to get involved in the banter. He's already been on it with Taz Friendly, of course, in most cases, on Twitter. But they have been a team that's struggling to achieve results since making the playoffs in the last major. It's been a battle for them. They've really struggled and time again to close out games that we would have expected even, 8 to 10 months ago that were theirs, undoubtedly. I mean, there was a time they were challenging Astralis, while Heroic was also in the mix, where all three Danish teams looked like they could have easily taken each other over.
You have to say as well, with the addition of AZ, I was really excited when that was first announced, right? I thought that's going to be the difference maker here. He's going to be the player that brings them to that top 5 position. And this year it's just been underwhelming for them. It's been really disappointing as a project overall. There's exciting sponsorship, and you think this is it now. They've got all the tools they need, but it's got worse, if anything. They've looked like they're dropping off. So I think this tournament is a time to prove themselves. This is good opposition. Obviously, going against Cloud9 yesterday, they were in very good form. That's understandable, but you feel like they should be beating a team like Penta.
Well, there's also look, AZ is a perfect point. Has never really reached Cluj levels again. That seems ages ago. That was the end of 2015.
Exactly.
When he had that incredible run. I'll call it a run for him. It was obviously a group stage that Dignitas failed to make it through. But an incredible form in that, which ultimately led to him being picked up by then G2 and turning into FaZe, etc. He's gone back over to the Danish scene. But, you got to beg the question, if it's not him, then who? Because what's Volda up to? There's rumors that he's just sitting in the wings waiting for a change to be made and will be jumping into this roster. So I don't know if that's true or not. I've stopped digging into rumors. I kind of like being surprised, but I've definitely heard whispers that could be a possibility.
Well, it makes sense, right? Why would Volda just leave like that? One of the most impressive players for that heroic side. There's got to be something going on, right? It makes sense that with the player break coming up, him coming to this sort of lineup with 3-week break, that would make sense. That would kind of all come together quite nicely, I think. And maybe AZ just goes to Heroic. But that's all speculation, of course. That's just us working out what could make sense at this point in the Danish scene. They're definitely a team in turmoil right now, trying to bounce back. And hopefully this is a tournament they can make the playoffs and maybe get a little bit deeper than usual. But we'll see. 9-12 for Cologne wasn't really good enough once again. We'll see whether they can do some damage here at the major. Penta, nothing really to lose. They're a challenger in this tournament. They're coming in just looking to get more experience, get better and better. Did very well at the minors in the major qualifier. And looks like we are ready to begin. It will be a Mirage, of course, which is interesting considering what happened to North yesterday on this map versus Cloud9. And Penta are actually very, very good on this one, Matt. So we'll see what they can do. Remember, back to the major qualifier against Liquid. They actually had an amazing game on this one. HS especially looked incredible. Let's get into it, though, shall we? Penta on the T side here, Mirage, pretty standard by. 2 smokes, a few flashbangs here. Crystal with the HE, no upgraded pistols. 1 kit available for North. That's on the back of Config. He's got a smoke as well. Looking like a fast B approach here, but 3 players for North heading in that position. They could be challenging quite quickly with the CT aggression.
Aggression from Cajun B, of course, that is. As he gets closer inside of apartments, backs off, gets out the window, and does so without really much damage fired either way, considering he put a full round of bullets toward them.
Yeah, he's done some. He's managed to take HS and Innocent down to about 70 HP, so that's quite considerable. Thwarted their attempts to walk into the B side. They could have been going for a contact play there, and they've used their smokes as well. So that could have been completely shut down at the very start of the round. What's Penta's play out this one? Haven't dropped any players as of yet, but whatever tactic they had in mind, North have shut it down. And that's a nice shot from Majors. Aggressive from the connector there. Finds Sunny, one of the key players for Penta as well. Brings it to a 5-on-4.
Crystal, meanwhile, still holding off ladder position. Is going to give a lot of map control to the Penta side. He swings into the site. They'll push in finally through B. As you said, it was thwarted early, but now they've got control with HS up close. But MSL, better shot, follows up, has to reload and get away. Realizes, hang on, there's a player by the window, but thankfully he was busy because it would have been MSL sitting around with no bullets to fire. Pinch play coming in from the CTs. Config gets Crystal in the window. Zen fights back, and he could book it. He's got to get to A. He's got bomb because the other player from North is Magisk. Was on catwalk watching for him to re-enter, and he's going to realize now that he is going to go to A, and he's actually going to follow in his footsteps, so there's no chance to fake.
The fact he goes through kitchen as well, Config had the kit, so he can pick that up. It has to go this way, really, to give him a real chance in this clutch situation. Could have gone towards the connector, but goes for the vent. Bomb down, and Zen heads towards the A ramp. Decent position to be in, has vision of the bomb, of course. Now it's up to Majors to sniff him out and try and work out where his position may be. Go for a fake defuse here, and actually full defuse. I like this a lot. This is a big play. But Zen, not having any of it, has the range of the USP, the confidence as well to go for the shot. 3 kills in total. Good recovery from Penta. That 2-on-2 down to the 1v1. Made us full defuse as well. I actually like that a lot. I thought that was going to work for him. But Zen nails that 1 tap, and it's going to be the pistol going in favor of Penta here. So
confidence, by the way, you mentioned that. Confidence is going to be key considering the comeback they had against SK. I think they'll ride high off of that. Despite losing so dearly, you mentioned it, coming back that far and then losing often sucks, to be completely honest. I think in that game it's actually confidence-inspiring in that they came back against SK, #1 rated right now.
That seems to be the key thing with this team as well. They always have horrible starts. We saw it in the major qualifier and the minors as well, but they always came back from it. They always had amazing kind of composition, but still, we're going to have a fast play towards B. Not usually a fan of this, but it's actually working out quite nicely. Sunny and HS opening up things towards the B side. Sunny towards short there was a difference maker. They didn't have all 5 players going for the apartment, so he had some set smokes to get himself in a decent position. MSL taken down there as well. That should be round concluded. Didn't catch whether they were fully invested. They didn't, so North did not get armor. So this won't be a full investment in that sense. They want to be aiming for that first gun round and having the AWPs and the utility diffuse kits to work with, etc. But there it is. This should be the full eco. Nice B rush from Penta. The reason I say I don't really like those ones, for anyone who hasn't really listened to our cast recently, when you're going against those force fires and the CTs, you could run into a full stack. You're better off just dissecting the map, playing it like a default, using your grenades, and getting map control, then going into the execution, taking kill by kill and overwhelming the CTs with the pistols. But B-Rush can work, but it's always so frustrating if it does not. PT50s now for Magisk and AZ. A stack, pretty much all you can do here. HS will be looking for a couple of frags here with his UMP, maybe a bit more, as he gets towards the A ramp.
So MSL and Magisk, the ones to play on the balcony and below. Molotov thrown in accurately. That baits Magisk out. Tries to catch them before the gun's redrawn, but Crystal finds 2 kills. Up on top of the Cinder. They think that MSL must not be down there because the Molotov should have moved him. It did, but better angle. He finds a 1 kill. That's all they get. Yeah. Now we get the guns for North.
And Crystal as well, of course, the AWPer. He gets 4 kills with SMG. That sets him up on a really nice bankroll going into this series, and he won't be upgrading here. This
bonus.
is the bonus round, and then some. T-side, when you know you've actually got their CTs on the ropes, and that's why North probably didn't invest fully into that second round, as now they've got head armor. Those SMGs won't be a massive problem. They've got the AWP as well. This is testament as to why in best of one series, I think that's the best approach. Get some deagles, sure. Don't fully invest in the armor, because that could lose you the game early on.
Watch KGB, AWP. He's going to go up to the catwalk smoke and try and catch them off early. Dodges the first flash. Needs to be careful of how much he's scoping, because they'll have heard it, but not quite. Innocent around the corner. Taken down immediately, and Cajun backs off. Good start. Good aggression from Cajun.
Yeah, it's calculated aggression as well. He knows the orb's probably not going to be out there. And going into a 5-on-4 situation. A set piece, from what I can see so far, may have faked towards B. The bomb's waiting in towards Palace as well, and Cajun B's taking the bait. He's rotating over as the bomb comes out as well. Sunny to strike first. We know how good he is at aiming.
So double cat arch smoke on B, but like you say, it's a fake to get HS in toward A. It gives the B players no information. Zen's still waiting to lurk, but he's covered off by a smoke himself, so that means they've got to do more work in mid with Crystal, only getting 1 kill on the rotations. They've still got a job to do. Bomb planted, open side of the box. That lets Config walk in and find it. Problem is for Sunny as he's in the middle. Good shot to get Config. Zen has to strike. Sunny's backed off to try and create space. He can still make it back over toward B. If Zen can hold the angle, takes down AZ. Doesn't have to do anything more except cut rotations and let Sunny get there in time. So, in fact, he's going to go all the way into the site to do that, which is the better option.
Yeah, I like this from Sunny. The fact he had 10 HP as well, manages to negate his way out of the bomb site. Zen now, I thought he'd go more aggressive this one, maybe get towards the kitchen and give his teammate a real chance of crossing over to the side. Now it'll be a little bit sketchy. If you can get the bomb down there, they've got a serious chance at winning this round. It does get planted. Here we go. CT flanking in from short and one towards kitchen.
Good shot of MSL sneaking in from Cat. Zen's in corner. Depends on the timing. He could make this work. Oh, the problem is he's going to have his back exposed, but he gets through the window. Thankfully for him, MSL's not in a position to trade immediately, and the low HP. Zen's going to clutch for the second time in 4 rounds.
That's not bad.
5 rounds, excuse me.
Yeah, that's great. Sunny and Zen, that finish combo, winning a big round there for their team. 4-0 over Penta. We knew they were good on Mirage, but that was a bit of a brawl overall. The fact is, we're managing to bring it down to that tight situation. Good rotations, great teamwork, and we'll see whether they can convert this further, because we go to round number 5. It has to be another eco for North, as they'll have Deagles, P250s, and Config with the body armor.
I threw myself off because it says round 5, but it was round 4 that finished. You looked at me and why I was mad. I was mad at myself for not being able to count.
Right.
That's fine. I blame my mom. She never taught me.
It was an emergency.
No, it wasn't an emergency. Just give myself the old lecture. Good shot, Zen, to start it off as well. Pistols again, obviously, for North. So this is perfect start, Penta, and you're right. This is not a common trend for them.
Yeah, they always had those horrible starts, and they're having to dig deep for someone like Sunny getting a 1v3, and that reignites the team, and they seem to get back into series like yesterday. 10-0 down against SK Gaming, and took to 16-13 in a game they should have won, which is crazy to think. You're 10-0 down versus SK, and you still can win the game. Anyway, Cajun B opening things up with the P250 from Shadow, gets 1, might get a second as well, but Crystal denies that. Good Molotov usage here as well, the smoke's blocking the vision of the CTs. Bomb should be planted here, but Config trying to shut this down. Oh, Crystal, probably should have died there. Fight another day, and Zen helps him out. Find yet another frag. He's having a great game so far. 9-0 for the young Finn.
8-2 for Crystal as well. They're both up and beyond and above. It's Innocent that gets MSL down. Believe it or not, that's his first kill, so it's all Zen and Crystal. Just backs off. The Eagle's still in hand. He can try and potentially find a gun, get an exit kill. But really, not much to work with, and Innocent already watching window where he heads, so 5-0 Penta to start. And looks comfortable. Pistol was a 1v1. The rest of it's looked pretty convincing.
Well, another gun round here. I would say the double AWP setup likely. Config considering it. He is the secondary AWPer for the team, and they're not taking a pause just yet. I'd say this would be a nice time just to bring Rugger in and work out what's the game plan here. We've tried the aggression, Cajun B up towards middle, fighting, getting that first pick as well, but that round still slipped away. We're going to round number 6 here. The secondary AWP does not come out, so decent buy for North. Maximum loss bonus, of course, $3,400 per player after the previous eco as well. Cajun B this time heading towards the B bomb site, trying to get that first pick, not pushing up middle. Still going aggressive though, but could find awkward timing, seeing as Zen's already got past. Won't be aware of that, but still seems to be considering that a possibility.
Cajun should get one here. With Zen pushed up that far. HS considering crossing back over to watch the underpass position. It's a very good angle. Utility is what will save them. Oh, and he's going to flash off instead. the angle of that, they should know he's well inside of the doorway. Battle of patience. We know that patience often prevails when you're not on the AWP. We've seen timing go against AWP players countless and numerous times when they unscope and then someone peeks, but he's going to sit for a little bit longer. This is where they walk in. He doesn't get one. He falls off, misses the shot. And that's going to allow them the floodgates to open, allow them to pour into the B site. Rotations are quick. Kitchen goes all the way back inside of Market, however. Magisk and AZ are going to hold the same position, so watch for the retake. Look at the amount of Molotovs thrown in by Penta. Good hold from MSL. Gets the first shot through the window. Cajun goes back for more. So much smoke and residue. And he can't quite catch anyone going toward the bench, so position held, bomb down, and Crystal with the AWP has the apartments to cover off. And won't allow the retake flank. It's going to be catwalk. They try and approach from Config getting the next kill, so all the kills so far. All 5 staying alive. Go for North. It's HS, the next to fall. Config gets the angle from Cat. Zen, only one to respond, and finally North. Patience pays off. They get a retake.
Yeah, good work by Cajun there. Didn't overcommit, didn't take all the jewels, wait for his teammates to rotate in. There's a nice idea there from Penta. We haven't experimented with the idea of just walking to the B site, seeing what's there. And luckily for North, Cajun B, nice early call, flashing them off, delaying them as much as possible, falls back to the kitchen, and he doesn't do anything too risky. MSL finds that early frag as well, 5 on 4, biding their time, making sure players are coming from short as well. Pins to the site together. Frag by frag, only giving one away. Finally, Zen gets killed. He gets 1 kill there, the only player to frag on the Penta side in that round. But 10-1, still doing a very good job. And looking to reset North now. Penta, sure, 4 players survived for North, but they know if they win this round, North going to be in disarray once again. Cajun B, nice dynamic play. Middle, B bomb side. This time he's at the A ramp. Trying to find opening frags here. Good work out for him as well. Not on the other side, though, to be fair. There is one player in towards Palace, that's Sunny. He does like to play these lurk roles and try and find frags as CTs are rotating.
Smoke down, Config won't be able to spot toward the top of middle Innocent, and HS therefore take over the box position. Deeper catwalk smoke than we're normally used to seeing. Doesn't quite cover window for Cross, but they take the chance. Now they smoke it. Easy's going to burrow his way in behind the smoke that's also inside of Connector. Config up at the top of ladder, and AZ inside of Connector, backing off it now, but that's the way they choose to cover mid this time. Very different from the aggression that we've seen on a few different rounds, particularly the first gun where Cajun got aggressive with the AWP, but slowly they're using all of their utility to clear out catwalk. Now Config being inside the window, it's all well and good, but HS looks like he's going to jump in behind him. So who looks which way first? It's going to be A. The rest of the players are that direction.
Yeah, absolutely. HS does get in the window eventually. Misses the jump, though, unfortunately. That's going to make a lot of noise. Sound cues are plenty. Config's aware of it. Teammates are at A ramp with Sunny in the Palace as well. For that first shot, Crystal can't quite pull it off just yet.
Timing is everything now for HS. Good play, MSL. That's going to make it a lot harder, but it still works out because AZ gets pulled back up. He should have expected with the missed jump that HS was going to come in from Connector. They wanted window to thwart the players at jungle, and somehow it still works out for HS. I'm surprised AZ doesn't hold station, especially with MSL already clearing off the space behind him. As soon as his back turns, HS gets the entry they need. It opens up space inside of the site, and Cajun, retake with an AWP, has to work with Magisk, who's coming in from jungle. Both players in A main for Penta. Good position to be as well. Look at the bomb planted wide open. Crystal doesn't hit the shot on Cajun. Gets the information that they are slowly working toward the defuse. Quick tap, that's a fake. Check with the shoulder peek. Strafe jump Crystal, movement mechanics, a little bit wide angle over, but just doesn't expect it. They're both on the defuse. Cajun has to get off it, and Zen again is going to clutch for Penta.
2 amazing performances in that round from Penta. HS, after missing the jump as well. That went horribly wrong for him. He's like, okay, guys, I've actually have to change my play here, going towards Connector, but somehow finding 3 kills there, helping his teammates out. First on Connector, then the steps, turning around to jungle as well. He's single-handedly opening up that A bomb site. And Zen, once again, another brilliant performance there in the clutch. Crystal gets the information, calls that they're not on the bomb at this point, and then misses that shot, but then Zen stepping up. Once he finds that first kill, Cajun B, I think he loses that round regardless. He went for another defuse there, came off it, but Zen beats him to the punch, takes the shot, and that's the full reset as well. I think North have just about a buy available, but not a great one. Here's the shots from HS there. This shot from the steps as well. That wall bang to find MSL in shadow.
Yeah.
Fantastic work by him. And this was the key frag here. Config, very talented player, could have caused a lot of damage there from the jungle position. Cajun B, as you can see, not happy about it. So now we have a pause. and I think they will take the eco. We knew that would be a reset, but they can buy into the next round. It's not devastating, so they don't have to force into this. We'll just get some head armor and a CZ, but just PG-50s and a couple of Deagles to work with here. This is looking very promising for Penta, I have to say. North for another disappointing game here, but it's still early days. The reason I say that is because North on the CT side, it's technically still a CT-sided map, so you'd feel like they should be at least aiming to win the half.
Absolutely. 153 ADR for Zen.
He's playing nuts right now.
Best game I've seen from him, ever. We talk about Sonny on this roster. We've talked about HS stepping up last round. He certainly did, but Zen has looked so good in late round situations. Clutches the pistol. Clutches the first gun round. Clutches the last one, round number 7. 6-1. Yeah, 12-1 is his score. That's incredible. Only dying when they lost the round. 2 kills and all the ones they've won.
Yep.
Deagle for AZ. Won't find anyone toward top mid. Has to back off. Tag down to 32.
Just to note, when we commented on AZ's performances recently, he's 0-6 right now. So like I said, early days, but doesn't seem to be the star player anymore, right? Like he was in previous lineups. That's been kind of the sentiment we've had from AZ since he's joined North. Anyway, round number 8, 40 seconds remaining.
Magisk
opening things up.
Magisk, perfect timing. You watch them go by. Whoa, he's got to have the accuracy. That's a disaster. He could have easily picked up 2. He only gets 1 as Zen turns back. Whether it would have amounted to the round or not, it certainly would have made things awkward as Sonny jumps in to get Cajun B. Good denial of bomb from AZ. 22 seconds, though. Lots of time to find and solve exactly what he's up to inside of the site. So HS does so. 7-1. 7-1 for Penta.
7-1. North can still win the half. We'll see what they can bring to the table here. It's not going to be a double AWP setup. I would like to have seen that. Config is a very proficient AWPer. Couldn't really afford it, I guess. He had just over the amount to actually purchase the weapon itself, which is $4,750. He brings up the M4, goes to utility as well. Penta taking a time at this point. I guess just a chance to calm down themselves. They've got a great lead here. Talk about the tactics. They might be going for a set piece considering that Crystal does not have the AWP. They certainly could have purchased one. They've gone for 5 AKs instead. Crystal, a player, I said yesterday, I don't think he's a world-class AWP, but he was going toe-to-toe with Fallen quite comfortably yesterday, looking very good indeed. So it's interesting that he can fall back to the rifle when required. And round number 9 here. These are the sort of rounds now. You've got such a huge lead. You can see they look comfortable, Penta. As we said, going into this tournament, a challenger, not really much to lose, want to prove themselves. 16-13 versus SK yesterday, and now a great lead against North. I'm saying you probably go for an execute here, like something off the bat. Maybe a faster play towards B. We know they've got set pieces that involve short plays up towards the B bomb site. We'll see what happens. Round number 9. Cajun B's been very dynamic so far. Hasn't had much presence towards middle, but this is where he goes in round number 9, towards that window. Smoked out, of course. This could be a fast A split from Penta. You can see 2 players at the A ramp, 3 in middle as well. Those are fast smokes I described, but Config looking to battle.
Config, good angle actually. Oh, the flashbang though is perfect to allow them to slip by undetected. Cajun meanwhile fights in the site now. Config gets his chance, strikes before they get any further up connector. That's all due to the fact that Cajun was able to hold the front lines of A. And North looked much better in the previous than any of the others. So that goes 2 rounds for them, and they keep 4 alive in doing so.
Yeah.
They'll have to drop one over for AZ.
I absolutely love what Cajun's doing. That's the sign of a really good AWPer. Someone who can change their position every single round and look comfortable. Middle, B, top and middle, and A ramp, and he rotates back towards that A side from the window. Finds that opening kill on HS as well. He's been a bit of a menace for them. Finds Crystal, and then his teammates can spray the rest down. Good job from North there. Need to start stringing rounds together though. Money's starting to stabilize considering they kept 4 players alive in that previous round, but need to convert multiple victories here. And Cajun B once again finds Sunny in the Palace. That's where he normally dwells, but 5 and 4. Commitment comes in. All 4 players at the A round.
Sandwich for HS. Smoke above it. He'll flash over it quickly. Zen's caught by it. Fancy pushing the smokes as a result. Instead, turns back to get the bomb plant after he makes sure he's 100% clear. AZ does get him back through the smoke, but his job done. Bomb planted fast flank for Config, and they line up perfectly. He's able to find 2. It's all on Crystal, tight position. No chance to get out from Sandwich because he literally was sandwiched by 4 players of North.
That's very good from North. Now they're coming to life at this point as well. Players like Convict starting to arrive as well. Good discipline, that AK-47, the double spray down as well. Penta are throwing everything they've got in the strategy book right now. The fast A splits, the contact A plays, the fast Bs, and they're trying to keep the pace of the game in their favour. But now North is starting to wake up. Cajun B's hitting the key shots towards the Palace in that round as well, making sure he's in the right position every single time. This is a great shot by him. Might look quite easy, but that timing, being in the right position there, that's very impressive. And then Config with the double spray down with the AK-47. Great work there. And we go into round number 11. It's not going to be a forced buy from Penta. Yes, they have the AK-47. They're keeping money reasonably strong. They have about 2k per player after this investment. And where are we going this time? So towards a B apartment. It's got players towards top middle, but Config, he wants to try and find his first frag once again. He's had enough of this nonsense. He wants to find frags.
Getting a lot of information based on noise. He should know as well they're going into B. Chooses not to shoot, and actually, even better, he's going to choose to wait. If they go back toward him, he was perfectly positioned, but he thinks they're going over to B and wants to get in a better spot, which could catch off Sonny, walking back out from the underpass, pistol only in hand. You'd expect Config to just drop down and take the fight, type of player that he is. Let's not forget in the qualifier for the last major what he did in overtime.
Sure. Well, a final B play coming in here from Penta. Smokes down towards the arch, presumably. And Magis, I say he gets a few frags. We haven't seen much from him in this game so far. Might not see much more. That's actually pretty decent overall. 80 backing him up. Quite a simple procedure overall. Not the cleanest of frags, but they all count, Matthew. The bomb's down. That should be round concluded. So Magis, like I said, not really living up to expectations at the moment. Known to be a bit of a boy wonder and managing to have that crisp aim and the aggression that Config brings to the table as well. Looking a little bit stifled there. Still gets the frags required just about. A little bit of help from AZ as well, but it's looking much better now for North. Getting 3 rounds in a row. 7 plays 4. As we go into round number 12 here, Cajun will be back on the AWP. I'll be interested to see where he begins at the start of this round. And money not amazing for Penta still. After that little investment in the previous. They do get 3 AKs here, but Zen down to a Deagle. Same story for Crystal as well on the Tech 9. And Config, aggressive once again, of course, pushing top and middle. And Cajun B at the A ramp. I like this a lot, but Sonny might find him. Yeah.
You love it, but you hate it when Sonny has an angle like that, unfortunately. Sonny's going to take the AWP and try and take over. What he doesn't realize is that Config's a little bit closer than where he expected, so he looked jungle. They're on the stairs. He still doesn't realize it. Config gets a clean shot, but it's a clean B site, more importantly. Rotations and retake. R&R for North because it's Penta already inside planting. Innocent does so. No one getting aggressive toward Catwalk. Play bench instead. Zen's been spotted as he tries to take a Deagle shot back out toward them. Changes his angle as he wants to get the Molotov out. He won't. There will be no utility deployed to slow down the CTs on the re-entrance. HS, though, will get a headshot cleanly. Swings out, finds AZ. Innocent can bait off of him. Doesn't even need to. The young Estonian. All 3 kills to close the round for Penta.
Oh, his first major. He's impressing me every single game I watch him play. HS, very good job. Started off very slowly against SK, remember yesterday. What, 0-10?
Well, I was going to say, did you see the stat? Rops and HS, both of their first kills in the major were team kills.
That's true. I remember that. Yeah, that's the thing, though. HS did this in the qualifier as well. He had that game against SK. He said 0-10 before. Okay, maybe a bit of his depth. Can't perform on this sort of platform. But then, as the game went on, he turned to be one of their best fraggers at the end of the SK game. Now he's delivering, looking very, very good indeed. But that's a great round. Just 3 AKs there and pistols. 8-4. Penta do win the half, but still a few rounds to go. North for the double offset of this time. Config has been aggressive almost every single round, continuing that trend this time as he's on the corner of short, trying to find the first pick. Might just find it. There it is. Takes down HS. As we go into an advantage for North. Pistol still for Crystal. His money's still not stable, but at this point, another contact play towards A, and Cage will be missing that first shot.
Gets them a little closer to Tetris, but it won't get them inside of the site just yet. Cajun with no smoke deployed in front of him. Oh, and he's going to have a huge gap. AWP with a gap like that. Flashes were needed. They do push him back into the corner. Molotovs will clear the top of the stairs. So even with the lack of utility, they find some space, but the gap does haunt them in the end because AZ fires through it. Watch the plant. I think it's already, been canceled. Taken down. Sonny, the last alive, has to spray back towards CT to get Magis, the man who denied the plant, but AZ swings out after to get an immediate trade. 8-5. We've got a contest, but Penta's already won the half at the very least.
Yeah. All these Penta players are looking scary in these 1vx situations. In terms of fragging potential right now, Penta look head and shoulders above North. They're looking quite stagnant. I guess Config, the only one that's really impressed me right now. I like the assertiveness from KGB at the start, but he only got 7 kills. Config is really carrying them through this one. He's got 15 kills right now. He's top fragging on the server. You wouldn't really believe it considering what's happening so far, but still, Config, he's back on that orb once again. Opening things up left, right, and center. He heads towards B this time. Another eco for Penta. So I would say this half probably ends up 8-7 in favor of Penta. But North have recalibrated slightly and looking a little bit stronger, just basically down to Config and his aggressive fragging. And AK-47 went now with the AWP as well. Number 14. No nades, just some pistols and Sunny on body armor. It's very unlikely to get a bomb plant down here. If they had some smokes to work with, I'd be believing in that sense. But for now, just try and get a few refrags. That'd be about as good as it gets, I think.
Quick peek on the M4. Spots the player's high mid, but won't go back for it. Doesn't need to overface on the pistols for that reason. Dinked up. When he does go back out, gets Crystal onto 3, but Sunny now hits Magisk. This is far from easy with the guns for North. Easy didn't necessarily need to reface. Very poor smoke inside a connector as well, and they go for the window boost. AZ is ready for it, but again, can't really afford much of the duel. He has to be perfect with his shots, and they're going to get inside while he's looking away, which means they're going to have their accuracy set. He won't have a chance to catch them off sneaking through the window. No one inside ladder either as they cover off from B. Good shot, AZ. So he won't have ladder to pinch play with him. He needs MSL, therefore, inside the site to turn his attention. Cajun gets innocent, and AZ does recover after taking the early damage to close out with 3 in the round.
Yeah, well held in the end. Got a little bit uncomfortable after using that first frag, but the Deagles can be a little bit tricky on Mirage. Long-range pistol, of course, nail that headshot, and can be very difficult to handle. But we go into the final round of the first half here. Still on that double AWP setup. Crystal, though, hasn't had the AWP in a very long time. He's been down to pistols time and time again. Need a bit more frugal with his cash, I believe. But Sunny, as I said, that Beagle can be dangerous in the right hands, and Sunny very capable indeed. 4 AK-47s at Galil as well. Limited in terms of utility. HS just flashbang. I think that's all he took into this round. Occasionally to find the first frag once again. Was that a missed smoke? They normally are smoking the window area. I'll just check that out. I don't think it was. They just went clean in with the flashbang and didn't really work out for them at all. 5-on-4 once again. Looking likely to be 8-7 here.
So Crystals throws smoke toward mid from the courtyard. That covers off. Actually, I take it back. He threw the bounce smoke, which lands on the catwalk at the arch, but they don't cover off the van. That's where Cajun, Magisk rather, and Cajun are entering back in to watch the same position. Crossfire set. Good shot from Crystal to find Config. Just a sliver toward the window, but he's alone. 1 versus 3. He's got some room to work with, but he'll commit to the sights. And I thought maybe we'd get a quick headshot. Won't do. 8-7. They split the half, but North was in comeback mode from the very early stages.
Yeah, absolutely. They were 7-1 down at one stage as well, so it's a good recovery for sure. In the last 7 rounds, they picked up 6, so North looking much better there. We have to say Penta sent out a firm message at the very beginning of that game, winning the pistol, sure. I mean, normally describe Penta, a team that they're scrappers. They normally have rough starts into maps and they come back into it, like we saw against SK yesterday. But this was much better and dropped off towards the end. They were relying very heavily, it seemed, on tactics called at the very start of rounds. They kind of didn't want to go for default at the start and work picks. Just going, right, we're going for this fast A split. We're going for a set piece here. We're doing the B execution. We're doing the B rush, which is fine. A lot of teams can fall back onto that, especially the tier 2 teams. But it seems like North adjusted, especially Config, and just started finding first picks time and time again. We'll get into the North pistol round now. 3 smokes. This would be quite a technical one. They used to just do 2 and focus on CT spawn. I'll be interested where that third smoke goes. Maybe it goes towards CT spawn. Normally just steps and jungle.
Decent find from Config. Explosive play. Config hasn't gotten that early kill. Gives them the man advantage despite Cajun's problems. He's bled out. So too is Crystal, though. He's on 4 HP. They're going to back off immediately as Config follows up. Bomb planted. All 3 players left. Going to rotate in from CT. Steps and into the grave, stepping over their mark because immediately Config finds not only 1 more, but 2 more. Gives him 4 in the round. And we tie up the game, and North has control early.
Yeah, like I said, most teams buy 2 smokes in that round. You smoke towards jungle, the steps. You focus on CT spawn. They smoked off CT as well, just to give them a bit more fragging potential. Focus on the bomb site. Any CT players waiting inside, right? And then Config hitting every single shot. That's obviously going to work out quite nicely for them. He gets 4 kills in total once he finds that USP. Playing like an absolute beast right now. Getting into that second round. And same mentality from Penta as North had in the first half as well. No force buy in the CT half, keeping 3 players and just upgraded pistols. Crystal with a Zeus, apparently. That's making a rare appearance here at the Major. We get into round number 17 here. 1 AK-47, 3 UMPs, and Magus with the MP7. This could be holding in the default for now. Player holding underpass, 1 a day ramp, and 3 towards mid. This is how I like defaults to be played. We saw Penta go for that rush B. I always get so scared when I see those come in, but this is how you should be doing it. Hold up, wait for CT aggression, work out as a stack, use your utility to flash any CTs out that might be towards connector, for example. When you find that first pick, get that intel and that advantage. That's when you get into a 5-man formation and get towards the side itself.
Innocent and Sunny forced out of position by a single smoke. Sunny's elected to rotate back over to A off of that. Innocent will stay and wait for it to dissolve, but that, in the time by which it is down, allows North to slip onto the B site. Zen, the only one in there, 5-7. Can be lethal, but not if Magisk jumps around the corner as Setch. Innocent gets 1 back. Bomb due any second to go down. Decent damage done, so they can get some economic damage at the very least onto North, but round is looking unlikely.
Indeed. Innocent, Sunny and HS now on the retake. No kits. A couple of Deagles to work with here, but they're all low HP. They'll be trying to sneak through the smoke. Any kill they get will be worth something. Can't really save the armor, but we'll see what they can do here. I just decided to fall back and save the upgraded pistols. And they've kind of guaranteed this round is definitely over. To be fair, HS and Sunny have got body armor to work with, so that's going to be beneficial next round at least. But North, another clean round. 4 players surviving. 3 of which are SMGs. Trying to hunt up the best they can. It's not a huge deal if the SMGs go down, but that's the AK-47. That's actually quite considerable. I mean, Sunny can save that for the next round. As he will. And he's got armor as well, so that helps him out tremendously. 8-9 now in favour of North. After losing the first half pistol, they strike back with one of their own. Should be another EK here for Penta. They do have that AK-47 though. Probably upgrade some more pistols into this one. Innocent, Crystal, and HS, I believe, with Desert Eagles. And this will probably be a faster play from what I can see from North. They're all looking towards the A-bomb site. Maybe to stick together, go for that contact play, and just try and find the opening frag and overall on that bomb site. A few smokes deployed as well. Config, of course, why not? Get him in first. He's currently on 20 kills, 12 deaths. Having an amazing game after 17 rounds.
Oh, it's oven for Sandwich. Cajun will put one on the benches behind the smoke so no one can push through, but they need to act.
Ooh, what the hell?
That's an amazing shot through the ticket booth as well. AZ and MSL chime in with their respective SMGs, the UMP, but that's incredible.
Something about this map and config with the one taps seems to bring out the best in everything. But anyway, MSL will find Crystal and Zen. The last player remaining now. It can't really do much of this. Got the 5-7, but in a 5 versus 1 situation, it's a free kill. MSL giving it to him on a plate, it seems. He'll take that UMP and run back. Definitely a viable weapon in the going round to the CTs. Zen, of course, the top frag up. 15 kills, 11 deaths. So have a look at the scoreboard while we're here. Innocent, the underperformer so far for Penta, considering the great performance they had in the first half. He's currently only sat on 4 kills and 12 deaths. A bit of a disparity between him and his teammates. HS next in the scoreboard for them at 10 and 14. Same story for Magus as well. He's missing in action right now, Matt. He's on 9 kills, 11 deaths, like one of the superstars for North. I can't think of one exciting moment for Magus whatsoever. Normally got loads of highlight moments, especially in games like this. You feel like he'd be devouring a team like Penta.
How red is his face?
Is that the gauge?
That's usually, yeah.
Okay.
And when he's super, super red, it's like Super Saiyan version.
The blood's pumping. He's feeling it.
Absolutely. No, yeah, he looks like a little tomato. Or a tomato, depending on how you want to look at it.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that develops. We'll keep our eye on it. Get into round number 19. Finally, Crystal has the AWP once again. Oh, actually not. North did not pick one up. I assumed Cajun was going to. Maybe staying on the MP7. Flashbangs towards middle, nice and high in the sky. Cajun using that gap in the smoke to see many CTs overstep the mark. But for now, quite quiet. Do have one player off towards short. That's Zen, who makes his way in CP out. Innocent as well, joining him in the same position. So one watching for the boost in the window, the other looking towards any players pushing up short. This boy patrolling the apartments. The AWP position in B holes. Alone for now.
Config already down toward connector is going to check it quickly. Stack position toward ladder. I don't mind it. It's definitely unorthodox. It's different. Will they expect it? Doesn't matter if they do or not. Good shot, MSL. To find Innocent immediately, but look where the bombs drop. Bombs drop in the ladder. Zen gets caught switching weapons, and Cajun will recover the bomb.
Yeah, good job there. 50 seconds remaining, man advantage. Crystal still towards me of the bomb, hoping they walk into his crosshair. Could work out for him. Has to be patient here, but you can see on the minimap right now, Config still in connector, AZ Palmers as well, very unlikely. Another great shot from AZ, finds the headshot of Sunny towards CT spawn. That should be the round concluded, considering HS Crystal, no kits here, 4-on-2. Do have a nice position from HS, he has to be the difference maker here. We can find a couple of frags, maybe we have a chance, and there they are. Denies the bomb as well.
What a game he's had. It was all Zen early. Apparently HS has done some meditation as well, because he's stepping up. It's Crystal to slip back in. AWP, they're on the inside of the default. Oh, headshot! Oh, that's such a tough shot. It's so tempting. You can't say no to it, but now he knows both are back there because bomb planted as well. He has to expect that he's watching for the peak on the inside, the right side of the box, but that allows him to go left and actually get further away in the post plant. As no one's gone that direction, spots up AZ on the jump, sees him again. But where's the second player? All the way toward A main, and he'll never, in fact, closer than that, he went to Sandwich, so never expecting Cajun to have the angle on him.
Oh, good effort by HS. We said if you can get a couple of frags, maybe there is a chance. He certainly delivers his side of the deal, but unfortunately, Crystal, he can't hit that shot. As you said, that's very difficult. If he hits it, maybe he's got a real chance there, because he knows the bomb's about to be planted. He has the exact information where the remaining terrorist is, and that could be his round. Doesn't work out for him, though, and this has to be another eco for Penta. Zen coming in quite hot, though. He's got the UMP, body armor, diffuse kit. And we'll see whether he can step up. He takes his money down to the 3K mark. Must have had residual cash as we enter round number 20, 11-8. That once huge lead for Penta suddenly evaporated. It's 11-8 now, after being up 7-1. No real stack from the CTC. We'll have a look at this where Zen's position towards the A-bomb site for now with that UMP. But another default from North. Very disciplined team. MSL knows what he has to do to win these sort of rounds. It's the most gutting thing to give away in a best-of-1 series, especially now Swiss format as well. It means so much. You just want to make sure you give everything you can to have the highest percentage chance of winning these rounds. Even though you're up against Pistol, it can be quite tempting for your star players to run in there. Like Config as well, you've got to keep him on a leash, map. Just make sure he's under control.
Keep him on a leash like you keep me on a leash?
Exactly.
I knew it.
Got to keep my eye on you sometimes.
Everyone does. I'm a man who can't be trusted. Smoke at the top of connector. Bit of noise made when they fell back from A main. MSL should have heard that, so they know they're going to be somewhere in the mid sections of the site. But HS starts off with a good shot against Config. That's going to confuse and cause chaos because Crystal able to re-enter the picture. Good shots from AZ. Innocent walks directly into Magisk. And it's all on Sunny. Tries with a deagle. Looking for the one-hit wonders. Flash thrown at him, everything to deter as the bomb goes down. North. Ooh, good shot. Looking to go up 12-8. If he had hit 2 of those, I would have given him a chance in it, but no matter for, and no threat for North.
Yeah. North got a bit dicey there for them. Bit of a brawl on the A-bomb side there with the PT-50s and Deagles, taking some considerable damage, but overall, well recovered there by AZ from Palace. Hitting some nice shots, being quite quiet throughout this game, but now starting to post some good numbers. On 14 kills and 10 deaths now. Everyone in double figures. Still Innocent though, Matt. He's been non-existent for Penta. 4 and 14. I don't think he's fragged in his half yet. We're getting to round number 21 though. 12-8. Things looking quite dire now for Penta. They give away 5 rounds in a row in the second half. Crystal with the AWP once again, but same story for Cajun. He's looked great. Pretty sharp. He holds the A ramp.
As the flames extinguish, Config could walk into a problem. He's not careful, and we know Config's aggressive on his peaks. The jump did actually throw Crystal off just enough because he was in between the 2 targets. But it is still the CTs that prevail with the advantage because Sunny's able to get Magisk. On top of that, he'll get MSL trying to reclaim the territory at jungle. Bomb still planted. 2 men down for North. Cajun can't find a shot towards CT. Mid-sight, Config has to back away and not be exposed. In doing so, just barely, I think, due to the flash, gets in toward Tetra without being spotted. From CT, good hold from Cajun. That allows him to retreat as well. And Config hits 2 in the meantime, so they've actually backed off from awkward positions with a great play from Config. Well-timed flashes, actually mistimed flashes from the CTs if you want to look at it that way. And patience from Cajun B. It goes 13 for North when they had no chance in a 4 versus 2.
A 4 versus 2, but Config, I saw him alive. I thought it's always a chance. The way he's playing right now, especially that AK-47 as well, just needs an opening. Cajun B gives it to him, takes down the AWP, finds him a bit of space, takes the duel, hits 2 headshots, and the third as well, of course. Why not? That's huge, and that could be the game there and then. 13-8 now, Penta struggling, clutching at straws as they go into round number 22 with M4s, Famous, no kids, little utility, nothing at all for HS. Wanted to go a bit more aggressive here. There it is from Sunny, the double spray down, looking for 3. Doesn't happen, but that's enough. They had to try and find these initial frags at the very start of the round. He certainly delivers. Gives them the advantage for now. HS was thinking about pushing the lower ramp, but takes his attention towards the Palace and finds AZ instead. So it should be their round now, but it's another 4-on-2 situation. Make it 4-on-1, but his confidence is still alive. Bomb down. Surely he can't win this.
Gonna try to. HS better angle though. Elevated position. It's hard to have crosshair placement on that. In return, it's easy to expect a walk in. So 13-9, Penta finally claw one in on the CT side. Both teams have been struggling on the CT side. Roping together a buy as well. They'll go FAMAS. The 2 AKs carried over and 2 M4s picked up. 3 kits. Decent utility though.
Yeah, this round pretty much means everything for Penta. You can see Brazil cashed about 1,500 per player. Lose this, you won't have enough to buy the next round apart from pistols and SMGs. Need to win this round to stand a chance of beating North here. Full buy for the Danes. Confident to find the first shot, of course it's him. And Sunny trying to reply but can't do anything about it. His trace has seen through the smoke. It's going to be a 5-on-3 very quickly now. Recovery mode for Penta. Can anyone step up? We have got HS and Zen. Great series from them so far. We'll see whether they can scrape anything together here. It's unlikely, but HS looking towards connector.
Back out toward middle as well. He's covered up by windows, so he knew he could peek underpass first. Zen had top mid covered.
You can see them challenging for these frags, man, trying to do anything they can. Anyone hidden into a little crevice there, try and get a kill, but it's just not working out for them.
I was going to say, yeah, the issue is where they're looking is not where there's anything to be found. North's back over toward A instead. HS and Zen have made it back into the site, but with no more information in doing so. And they still have to contend with the fact that Magist could pop out at any time from middle. Make sure he's not going to be peeked from window, but as soon as he goes toward connector and times it with the entrance on A, in fact, he may just wait for the post plant. They're going to go alone. I was going to say this could be huge. Watch Zen, because they don't know that he's there. Channeling Zen quietly. Still gets HS, but they still won't know his position. Waits for the plant to come out. It's going to be denied. 29 seconds, and bomb goes down. Zen, oh, he's got to get the shots in. Does manage it with the FAMAS. He's walking out to exposed position at connector, however, and that is exactly when Magist walks through. Couldn't get the AK picked up in time. Tried. It's all on innocent, but that bomb's still not planted. 14 seconds. They've got to get toward it. Tag on AZ. And he's going to hold the plant, hoping Magist will hit the shot as soon as he walks in. He's exposed, but does do so, does nail it, and North go 14-9.
Yeah, Innocent, he's had 1 frag in this half, 5 and 16. If he wins that round, all would be forgiven, but can't find the shot as the bomb crosses into the plant position. 14-9, I said, Matt, if they lose that round, that's probably game. They're going to have to force around this now. Scout comes out for Crystal, 5-7 for HS, Famous for Innocent. It's not looking good. They do get a couple of M4s, but no armor on Crystal either, so this is looking quite desperate now. That was a nice attempt from Zen. That's all we can really say. Good attempt. And number 24, they know the money's low north. Those going to be rushing A, but looks of things, sending that AWP up. And the CGs giving the same sort of treatment towards middle, but MSL might overlook them, in fact. Yeah, gives a frag away. So, yeah. As well.
I was going to say, 2 oversteps to the mark. And good response. Cajun misses the jump to jungle. Top stairs. So he'll go deep sight instead to try and watch connector. He's got AZ watching CT, so he knows he can focus on one direction. Doesn't land the shot immediately toward the stairs, and they slowly push AZ back, so Cajun has to get in a better position. More fortified positions. Config still has A main, keep in mind, but that's not where the bomb's planted for. So he'll have to watch cross on entry when they go. Cajun gets aggressive again. Smoke down allows him to do so, and they can't push through it. Config, a good hold. Will save him for at least a second longer until Sunny arrives, but that just calls and sounds the alarms. Everyone focuses, and we go map point north.
We do indeed. Config delivering once again. 26 kills for him in total. Looking for that 30 bomb. Might not get a chance, though. We're at match point. 15-9 in favor of North. It was a little bit tricky for them towards the end of that round. We're finding some frags of a Penta. They opened things up in middle as well. Upgraded to another rifle, but they had to go aggressive there. They knew with the scout, pharmacies, and pistols, they didn't really have much of a chance there. Almost worked out for them, but here we go. 5-7s, a Deagle, Sunny on the UMP. This should be it for North. The guts they gave this one away and gave Penta another start of this game, but still, we'll see what they can do. The international squad, Penta, looking to open things up. No particular stack coming in. Only one player towards B. That's Crystal with a smoke in hand. Flashbang as well. Deployed the decoy already, but that's been discovered. 4 players on A. Bomb still down in T-spawn for North, so they won't be committing anytime soon.
Looks like AZ's going to go back to grab it now. Maybe not. Window smoke instead. Connector smoke with window and Majestic and Config pushing underpass means they'll likely hold for rotations with bomb on MSL and AZ. Heading toward the apartments, Crystal becomes the one that could thwart all of this and shut it down. I know it's pistols, but it's a good position and it's a 5-7. He can spam it. Oh, steps early. Tagged up. They now know he's there. They should pre-fire, but still he hits a headshot. He wouldn't right out of it. MSL responds and picks up the bomb. He'll head toward the site. Rotations are actually going in behind where the T players are currently located. So MSL makes a smart decision rather to go back through the underpass and join his team. No need to walk in alone. Goes HS. Majisk has the other player in the vent covered off, and it's only Innocent remaining. They know exactly where he's likely heading, although gun not drawn. He nearly gets a Deagle kill. Won't do it in the end. And North goes 16-9. Comeback, and you said it. Penta's normally slow to start. This time they were hot out of the gate and couldn't finish.
And dropped off, yeah, in the second half especially. I think the difference there was that one of their players, Innocent, who's actually one of the more experienced players in this team, 5 kills after that many rounds as well. Like, that's not a good enough performance. Considering that a huge lead as well, he just completely dropped off. And Zen, you have to say, amazing game for him. Not normally one of the massive games players we talk about. It's normally Sunny, and but he had an amazing game along with HS as well. They're looking so hot at the start there. But North, they were very calm throughout that. Even when they're 7-1 down, they didn't panic. They just got the double warps out. Config started pushing in, trying to get those opening frags and shutting down those set executions that Penta were trying to do at the very start of each round. And it was a good adjustment, and they looked very comfortable once they found their pace and Config. Amazing game from him.
Yeah, fantastic game from him, I have to say. You pointed, Zen. I've got to give him a pat on the back as well. Certainly played well. Clutch situations was absolutely excellent in the first 8 rounds. But North does step up. They prevail. They go 1-1, which is, I think, a sigh of relief. If these guys went down 0-2, I don't see them making playoffs. I could not see it in any world, no matter how the bracket lined up. Yeah. However, going 1-1, getting some confidence back underneath of them. They were close with Cloud9 for a while, keep in mind.
Sure.
It gives them a chance. I think it does give them a real chance.
Just a final note as well. Great from Config. Needs to be more for Major Sport.
Yep.
They have a chance to get to the playoffs right now. If he doesn't turn up in this tournament, they're not going to get any further. But any final thoughts? Go on.
After you.
I was going to throw it
I like your shirt.
I like yours. And on that note, we'll throw it over to the desk. Paul, over to you.
Nice shirts, boys. Nice colour red. Like that. Good that we've sunk that low to shirt, dissection at this point of the day when it's only the first match of the day. Congrats to North. They have won the opening match of day 2. They keep their hopes alive of a quarter-final place. But Penta have an uphill task now. They are 0-2. We're back with Natu and Moses at the desk. I'm sure you're very disappointed in your countrymen for a disappointing performance from them, but not just them, the team as a whole. We spoke on the way back here. They're a frustrating side in many ways to watch, aren't they? Because they're so exciting, and you sort of want them to do well. You feel like, this is a good team. They've got the basis of good firepower, and everything seems to be working. When it's on, they look terrific. They really do. Think of the comeback yesterday. The start of today was absolutely tremendous. But we've seen this far too many times, Natu, now. We've seen this over the course of the last 6 weeks in the qualifiers where they start well and they fall off, or they start badly and they come back. Either ways means they're not winning matches they should win.
Yeah, I think they should be nominated as the most streaky team in the world right now. Getting off the gates really well, winning the first round, converting on the anti-ecos, again playing really, really confidently, just rushing B-bomb side. I really like the way they show cojones in the early parts of the game. And then they go for a lot of Jason was on the 4-1 watch, so
I was on the 4-1
so
watch.
many rounds they would go for that 4-1 split, basically, hitting out bombs that with so much force, and a lot of it just creeping through, making sure they were trading effectively, which they were, up until the point where mostly Cajun B really started to light up. We were discussing in the green room how Cajun B kind of has been absent, and he was missing a lot of shots in the early parts of the game, but once he started to be super mobile, hitting the crucial shots right before Penta got anywhere near that bomb site, that's when really things started to change towards North.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I did do the 4-1 watch. That was quite fun. It actually wasn't as much as I thought it was going to be. They only did it 6 times, but I think 5 of them were in the first 8 rounds. So that was really like how they wanted to set the stage for this match. And it was a very cool game plan from them. I mean, those 4-1s really opened things up. They were successful early on, and then much like what I mentioned with Big yesterday, it kind of sets the stage for what you can do in the future. You started seeing North over-rotate a little bit on their CT side at times, so it kind of allowed them to get into it. But yeah, Cajun I thought was great. Config had all the numbers, but Cajun was really the important factor. He was so mobile with the AWP. In the first 3 rounds he had it. He opted, B halls, he opted middle, and then he opted A ramp. And it's just, when you have an opper like that and you're trying to call against it, it's just that you never know where it's going to be. But really, once it switches over, actually, also you got to mention Zen, 3 clutches in the first 7 rounds. This is what gets Penta out to that hot start early on in that game.
Point in this, Jason, wasn't it? Is that yes, they do have these hot starts, and yes, they sometimes have cold starts. But in this game, it was more that they were reliant on single pieces of play by single players.
And they showed diversity in the tactical perspective as well. They had some cool fakes going on. They'd fake a play towards the A bomb side and then on the B and the other way around. A lot of different things. It's just a matter of finding the right flow, not getting surprised by the aggression. That when you're coming up from ramp, you're not supposed to be getting picked from an opper in that position. You're either going to flash him, you're either going to smoke that spot position. Make sure those kind of things don't happen.
Yeah, those are like what you should do in theory. It's kind of hard. I can't fault Sonny so much for that round. He got picked off by Cajun and Palace just because he'd had some success there coming out in that fashion early on in the half, and that's just what makes a mobile opper so dangerous. Is Sonny's just saying, "Oh, I haven't seen an opper. Just looking at this position for the whole game. I'll just go for it again," and then he just gets caught off guard. But even so, I'm not too bothered by this from Penta. I think they're still a very exciting team. I think they're still on the right path. It's just we see it a lot with like tier 2 teams. They really tend to struggle on the CT side, and especially a map like Mirage where your rotations have to be on point. The map is so wide. There's so many different ways you can get caught off. It's very difficult when you're in man down situations or a 3-on-4 of finding ways to group up together, either get information or make the right play. Sometimes it's just a flat out guess. It's even a struggle at times for tier 1 teams to do it. So the T side looks great. They have some very, very cool ideas. The CT side, I think that's where tier 2 teams tend to struggle when they have a really nice offensive side as well.
I'm hearing that AZ is in the player area and ready to join us. So let's bring him in right now. Good morning, AZ. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thank you. You must be quite happy to get back to winning ways after a defeat yesterday.
Yeah, of course. It was kind of hard loss yesterday when we played against Cloud9.
Yeah.
Felt like we came back on the T side, but then we fell apart on the CT side.
Yeah, and today was kind of the opposite way around. Difficult start, 7-1 down. What did you talk about in that first pause at 6-1?
We just tried to do some setups on A, try to make Cajun play around connector with the orb, so they wouldn't just get up connector and play around. And that was basically it. And then they did some A executes and we shut them down. And yeah.
Yeah, just started to twist around once you kind of enabled Cajun to get back in the game, didn't it? And Config also having a big game as well for you.
Yep.
Good stuff. I've got Jason alongside Moses and Natto. I'm sure they've got some questions for you as well.
Yeah, I know. I've talked to. Actually, I forget who it was we spoke to exactly, but I know you guys have made some role changes over on Mirage. Is that a feeling of? I mean, one of the big theories of why maybe you guys haven't reached your potential is some players not feeling exactly comfortable in how they're being utilized. Is there any kind of sense of that on this map specifically?
I think it's hard to say. We tried to change out some roles now. I'm trying to be the lurk. So back then when we played in Dignitas, Config was really good when he was running around with MSL, taking map control, and we tried to go back to that. So now I'm just being like on the side of the map, just lurking around.
Thought you did a great job with that, by the way, today. You had great impact out of the Palace at times, opening up that A-bomb site.
Thank you.
Just throwing that out there.
Yeah,
it's rare. AZ, you should be thankful. Moses is normally, super critical of every play that we've had so far. In the last
Everyone's thrown under the bus.
I don't know what's happened to him this morning. He's taken a happy pill or something. Natu, you got any questions?
Well, he kind of stole mine to an extent, but I was just wondering, like in general, considering the kind of struggle and up and down you guys have been, you could say since Epic Center last year with this line. Obviously, you've only been there since after the last major. But do you feel like you guys end up in start overthinking things a little bit too much? Like I feel, to me, you guys seem like you are your biggest enemy because you guys have such great tools right now to be a really successful team.
Yeah, I think it's just finding the balance between having a good start and being ready mentally. Right now, I think we are struggling with good starts, as you can see, both against Penta and Cloud9. But when we get rolling from the start, I think we are really a tough team to beat as well. But it's all about just finding the balance between having a good start and then just keep it rolling.
Scoots earlier on spoke to your coach Roger and he asked him about pressure because obviously being part of the Copenhagen Football Club set of teams, obviously that does come with some pressure on that. Do you feel that as a player in the team itself?
There will always be some pressure, but I don't really feel it when we play. We're just focused on the tournament and everything outside. We just shut it out, and yeah, you can't really think about pressure when you're playing.
Okay. What's the minimum expectation for you as a player and as for the team? What do you expect to do here at the major?
I expect us to go to playoffs at least. Of course, I want to win it. Everyone wants to, but if I have to be realistic, top 4 would probably be satisfying.
Okay. All right. We're going to let you go, and well done on day number 2. You are back in the winner's circle again.
Good luck, AZ.
Good luck, man.
There's AZ then. From North, they have won today. Bounced back after a defeat yesterday to Cloud9. They've also bounced back today in this matchup. It looks okay, doesn't it, for them right now? I mean, that's one for one.
Yeah, the scary part, I mean, it's also one of the positives, I guess, is that Config's playing so well. I mean, the second half of this game was really just him having enough of struggling through this match, right? But, I mean, it's...
Well, let's take a look at the scoreboard. Let's bring it up right now and show people at home just how dominant he was in this game.
Yeah, he was actually incredible. I said KGB was a huge impact in the way they recovered in the first half, but the second half was just all Config. And that's the one worrying thing, I guess, if this team, because in the past when we've talked about the power that North has, it's always, it was that they were so deep, right? They had Cajun, they have Magus, and then they have Config as well. But at this tournament so far, for them to look good and for them to compete against Cloud9, it had to have been Config having massive matches. So they've got to figure out a way to get everyone else involved. This was a great start, allowing Cajun to be a lot of freedom to be dynamic with the AWP. AZ into a lurking role seemed to be, helping out with how much impact he can have on the game. So, I mean, there's some good signs, and you can tell they're trying to work on it and try and keep people in. But Config was just a monster.
There's one at either end of the scale there, Natu, isn't there? There's Innocent on 5 for 18, and then there's Config at 29 for 16, which brings him the MVP. It's very, very big contrast.
Yeah, I mean, Innocent in the early parts didn't really get to do much, did he? Yeah. And then, for a lot of players, it's really hard to get into the game once you have that kind of a slow start. So definitely, I mean, you can't really pinpoint him as an issue for the team. I think overall, like Jason nailed it, saying the CT side, the rotations is really what was the issue in that game.
It's so tricky because especially with like the more inexperienced player, it takes so much communication and just like one wrong thing, and sometimes honestly, like it's very. When we say communication, I feel like a lot of people get the sense of just talking and just telling people, but you need someone
Hi,
to just...
Jason!
At times, it's not just like, the footstep here, I know a guy's here. It's more, someone needs to take the reins and say, this is what needs to be done, or this is what needs to happen, and then you have to have the trust
and
to
who's
just be able to
holding
commit
what?
to it.
Right. Yeah, my team just shut me down, though, when we play mixes. Like, Ben gets upset with me. He says, I don't call, so I start calling him like, he's behind the train. On train. And then he criticizes me like, what train?
Yeah, which one?
There is a few to choose from, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's a couple out there.
So yeah, not those kind of comms, not good comms, good comms as far as Moses is concerned. We will be back after a break. Of course, we're heading into game number 2, a very, very important game for these two teams as well. I don't think either team thought they would find themselves at 0-1 on day number 2. It's Mouse versus FaZe, a big game coming up next.